For the topic consider Prakriti Vigat Ayurvedic personnel against pandemic, Dr. Rakesh Salve is going to present the topic. He is an associate professor from Department of Social and Licensure Personnel and District Research Institute of Ayurvedic and Practice. He is also a registered physician at Tata Hospital. I just speak about his education and the things that he reviewer. He's done his BMS from Assam Airways. He's done his MD in Shastra from Government College Usmanabad from MHS University, and after he is pursuing PhD from Parul Institute of Ayurveda from Parul University. He's also having a diploma in computer applications from CDEC Institute. He's having a teaching experience of 9 years with PG experience of 3 years. He's got a national number of trainings with in various variety, you can say. He's got Best Faculty Award at Pandan National Conference on Cardiology in Ayurveda at Wardha, and Best second prize, Best Paper, second prize at International Seminar on the role of iron treatment in cancer and kidney failure at Kansanira Ayurvedic Hospital and Cancer Research Center, Meshna, Gujarat. He was also nominated as one of the candidate for online certificate course in clinical Arthashastra by the Department of Research and Heritage Kalpana, INS, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. He has 8 publications. He's been resource person for many international conference, and has delivered many lectures. He has presented 6 papers in various universities, various conferences. So may I request you to present your topic. Dr. Salveson.
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Um, uh, First of all, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the nice introduction, madam. Am I audible to everybody clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, madam. Uh, First of all, I would like to thank the management as well as the College of Ayurveda or the Faculty of Ayurveda Bharati Vidyapit, Pune, for giving me this opportunity to share my views on Prakriti Vighat. Actually, I lived for my first 26 years in Pune. So, of course, still my permanent address shows Pune's address. So, I am quite uh, happy to share this stage. And if any person or thing comes from Pune, it's always close to my heart. So, thank you, Bharti Vidyapit, for giving me this opportunity. I again sincerely thank the departments, the specific departments who were involved in uh, organizing this lecture. My dear friend and senior Dr. Prasad Pankar sir, with whom I discussed a lot of Ayurveda, Dr. Dhananjay Patil sir, who was with me here at Parul University, and all the direct indirect people who are involved to bring me here on this platform. Thank you very much. Now, after this acknowledgement, I would like to start with my topic. Friends, the concept of Prakriti Vigat, which I have given the title, uh, actually, we have this word quite a few times in our Samhitas, in all our books. I have not taken the exact context. I have changed the context a bit. I'll come to that context, what I really mean by that Prakriti Vigat in just a few minutes. Uh, but the second word or the second title or the translation maybe, if we are free to call it, Ayurvedic arsenal against pandemics. We are living in one actually right now. We are living in a pandemic. So I have decided to talk or share some light about the Ayurvedic arsenal. You know, arsenal is nothing but the weapons, all the different types of weapons which we can be using or which Ayurveda gives us in context with this pandemic situation in our country actually. So that is my topic today. We'll start with the topic. First, I'll go with the title actually. What is a pandemic? I think we are living in this pandemic for the last 4 years now. So we are quite clear and we are quite. Just a second, somebody is calling me. Just a second. मम्मी आप पे दिल तो होना फोन Hello, I'm extremely sorry. Uh, it was my mom's call, so I had to take it. First, we'll come to the topic what is pandemic? As we are living in one, pandemic is nothing but if it is considered of a disease, it is existing in almost all of an area or in almost all of a group of people, animals, or plants, right? This is how the Cambridge University or the Cambridge Dictionary suggests it. Uh, the word which we have to remember or recall is this pandemic is zoonotic in nature. The WHO decides or defines it as a pandemic is a worldwide spread of a new disease. Uses the word a new disease. While the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says it's an outbreak of a disease that occurs over a wide geographic area and affects an exceptionally high proportion of the population. Both these are the characteristics of this pandemic which we are living right now. Right? It is not constrained or limited to a simple continent. It has crossed the continents, it has reached everywhere, and it has affected exceptionally a high population. Now I'll start the presentation with some findings in the last 3 months. Then maybe we can come to the Ayurvedic explanation what I have in my mind. First point, it is highly contagious. That means it will spread very fast, right? It is transmitted through droplets, aerosols, fomites, self-inoculation. All of you must have been quite familiar with these words now, right? Droplet. What is a droplet infection? I won't go into the exact definition, but it is a moisture or amount of liquid, right? It is generally expelled from the respiratory tract to sneezing or coughing. Aerosols, again, aerosols is a complex mixture of all the three states. It may contain solid particles, liquids, as well as the gaseous state also. Fomites. Fomites is a very interesting point which I have highlighted because fomites are the objects or materials which are likely to carry the infection, such as clothes, utensils, furniture. And the fourth very important point, which is seen in this pandemic specifically, is self-inoculation. We have heard that sentence very oftenly now in the last 3 4 months. Okay, don't touch your nose without any reason. Don't touch your face. That is a very important mode of transmission, self-inoculation. Now, some researches I have collected the researches which are this year only, which have been conducted this year in this specific pandemic specifically. They say that there is no discernible evidence on the minimum infectious viral load. That is a very interesting word which we have to remember as Ayurvedians, right? That is a minimum infectious viral load of COVID-19 is very important if we have to cause or if it has to cause a disease among specifically, again, I have highlighted the word that is a susceptible host. And that is what is going to be the center point of my presentation, that we have to understand the susceptible hosts. Of course, the guest is important, the guest is very important, but we can't neglect the host, which are going to carry this guest for a long time. That is what my center of presentation will be. Again, social distancing is definitely a very promising in combating this infection, but uh, it is the exact conclusion is far from being established based on scientific evidences as far as these research publications are concerned. Because the WHO decides it to be 1 meter, while the CDC decides it to be 2 meters. Some other findings, the samples which were collected from the air outlet exhaust fans in the patient rooms, they have reported to be positive. And interestingly, I have means the slide was quite big, so I have removed that point. But the PPEs which were used by the physicians, which took a round of these COVID patients, specifically, they were tested negative. The virus viability, again, it has different viability. The virus has different viability on different surfaces. That is again a very important point to be discussed or considered. Ki it has a different viability on copper, cardboard, plastic, stainless steel, as well as glass surfaces. So we have to understand it, and that is what again, as an Ayurved physician, we have to understand ki if these non-living substances show different fighting capacities against a virus. That is why we have different viabilities of all these viruses on different surfaces. So a human being, a living human being with a different immunity, with a different build, will definitely respond in a slightly different manner to these viruses, and that is why we have to consider somewhere the host uh, consideration when we are dealing with such pandemics. Now we'll come to some images, right? The first thing is uh, it's one of the good videos which I have which I have seen in the recent days, that the SARS has or it may use multiple pathways to enter the host cell. This is very important, right? It is not a simple single pathway which it uses, and that pathway will also depend on some crucial factors, and that is what the image shows. It depends on the trafficking of the incoming virus, right? So you have to understand this word again, trafficking. Everybody knows the meaning of the word trafficking. Traffic is nothing but it's like collection of many vehicles at a point, that is traffic. So here also the incoming virus, the amount of incoming virus or the number of the incoming virus which reaches to your surface, whatever surface it is, it it may suggest or it may decide the pathway which it will use to enter the host cell. So that is whether the word trafficking or the quantity of the exposure is very, very, very important. Again, these some of the images of the SARS spikes, which show it shows multiple conformations. That is, not every spike has the ability to attach to the ACE2 inhibitor, which is generally considered as the important receptor site for these viruses. But still, all these spikes are also different, right? Not every spike is able to attach to that receptor. If we see the image, only the first one and second, or first and the second image, they were actually found to clear the receptor site and enter the human body. The rest three of them or last two of them were not even able to attach to the surface. So that is why the guest which is going to attack the host, we have to understand the host, we have to build the host so that the guest is not able to use the host cells for multiplication and for spreading. These are some of the theories. First theory is about the ACE2 receptor. It joins that the COVID uses that ACE2 receptor to enter the human body. Again, we have to understand this is not only a single, there is not a single site or a single area where these ACE2 receptors are found in the body. It may be lungs, it may be GIT, it may be kidneys, it is also blood vessels. So you have to understand this also. That is why the symptoms, and definitely today we can talk with more confidence. That is why the symptoms are changing, right? Maybe 3 4 months we were more adherent to the lungs pathology or pathogenesis. Then the deaths were due to kidney pathologies, heart or cardiac pathologies. Now in the May month, it was more related to blood vessels. Now maybe in the last 15 days, 20 days, we are more concerned about the GIT. So we have to understand this. The guest or the attacker is not going to use a single a single cell or a single area or a single system. We have to be ready for a multiple systemic approach. And that is what is very important as far as Ayurveda is concerned, because we have medicines, which have drugs which may work in multiple systemic diseases or multiple pathogenesis pathways. That is the plus point, or that is the key of Ayurvedic medicines. That is what I was telling. It may attack the lungs, the blood, the GIT, as well as the kidney system. Uh, One more interesting point what we have seen is the reason for fulminant COVID infection is also the critical mass of genetic material which the viruses will contain. That is what, in other words, we can say it may be correlated with the potency or the capacity of an individual virus also, how much genetic material it itself carries, so that it can uh, multiply in the human body or the human host cells. That is what is the understanding of this 10 to 14 days incubation period, because uh, whenever the virus enters in the body, it is not going to produce the symptoms immediately. It may use our DNA and our host cells, and then it is going to multiply. And that is what we have to understand. If the host cells are totally intolerant, right, then it will be more problematic. If they are tolerant, if they are able to fight against these viruses, then definitely the human body or the host will not be producing very high symptoms, or it may not, he or she may not land into more fulminant COVID infection. So this was, I'm not going to go into very details of the modern pathology, because I have to make you aware of what are the points which I incline, or I suggest, or I imagine to bring your attention to. Right now, coming to the title, right? What is Prakriti Vighat? The initial or the origin or the original word uh, original word of Prakriti Vighat. You'll get it in first Charak Mimamsa chapter 7, where Charakacharya explains about Krumi Nidan and Krumi Chikitsa. But fantastically, whenever you understand, whenever you try to read Ayurvedic books, they give a very logical reasoning about the different topics which are spread in different areas of that Samhita. Whenever you read, he suddenly Charakacharya is describing Guru Vadhi and Laghu Vadhi, and he comes to that Krumi Prakaran. So naturally, Chakrapani has to step in and he has to answer ki why is this Krumi topic or Krumi Prakaran has come in this Guru Laghu Vadhi chapter. He says Samprati Vadhi Guru Lagavasya Duradniyata. That is a very important word. It is very difficult to understand or to confidently diagnose a Guru Vyadhi or a Laghu Vyadhi. It is Durudnaya. And similarly, Krumi or Krumis which are produced in the body, they are also Durudnaya. And that is what the common point is. A Guru Laghu Vyadhi is Durudnaya. Similarly, a Krumi infestation, a Krumi diagnosis, a Krumi symptomatology, pathogenesis is quite Durudnaya. So we have to understand ki why this Krumi comes there. In that treatment pattern, I won't go into the types and details, but there are three steps in which we have to control this Krumi or manage these Krumi infestations. In which he says Apakarshanam first, then he comes to Prakriti Vighat, and then he comes to Nidanasya Parivarjanam. I'm not going to go into the first and the last detail, because I have just took the title from there. Uh, what does Chakrapani explain about Prakriti Vighat? He says प्रकृतेः कारणस्य श्लेष्मादिरूपस्य विघातः प्रकृति विघात इति अर्थः. So he's trying to emphasize कि प्रकृति is nothing but it is the karan, it is the cause, it is the hetu which is going to produce these krumis, right, in the body, right? Shleshmadi rupasya. Yes, he's saying Shleshmadi rupasya. That is what he's talking about, the internal causes. So we have to understand the internal causes of any pandemic or any disease. That is the first aim we have to understand. Similar word comes in Charak Chikitsa Sthan 3, that is Jwara Chikitsadhyaya. Here, Charakacharya says, Tasya Prakriti Uddrishta Doshaha Sharira Manasaha. That is, what is the Prakriti of Jwar? It is nothing but it is dosh. Which doshas? Sharir as well as Manasik doshas. And that is why he says it is a very broad accepting pratirna actually ki dehinam nahi nirdosham jvaraha samupasevate, right? Jvar won't be produced in a body where there are no doshas. So when Chakrapani describes the meaning of this prakruti, he says prakriti shabden iha swabhavaha, but a step forward he says ki tatra pratyasanna karana rupam prakrutim, ki what is that prakriti? It is the immediate cause, it is the most internal cause, it is the closest cause which you can find, and that is what I want to suggest from this word prakriti. Prakriti is nothing but it is the cause of the disease, or it is the immediate cause of a disease, right? For pandemics it can be the recent immediate infections which the host gets infected with. The third and the final word which got me to this title is which comes in Charak Sutrasan chapter 18, shlok number 43 actually. But after this shlok, the 44th number shlok is quite famous shlok, where and it is generally used by all the students as well as faculties or practitioners of Ayurveda. We generally say कि विकाराणाम कुशलो न चिरयत कदाचन nahi sarva vikaranam namatosti dhruva sthiti, and that is quite a famous shlok. We say it is not important or it is not bad, or it is not the reason to feel shy that we won't be able to name a disease. But before that, Charagacharya accepts कि why is he telling the name of some diseases, and those diseases are said to be sthula diseases, right? What is the word he has used? Yatha स्थूलेषु संग्रहः व्यवस्थाकरणम तेषाम. That he is saying that it is just to do the man for it is just like a nirdesh, it is just like a uh, abstract of a paper maybe. It is only for understanding your chikitsa or vyavastha karanam. What is vyavastha karanam? It is chikitsa vyavahartham sankhya kathanam. Why am I telling this sankhya? Because it is only for chikitsa vyavahar, and I am telling the names of only the sthuli diseases. He gives an examples of also yatha stuleshu ye stulaha udara mutra kusadayasteshu sangraha. So naturally the question arises. Chakrapani himself asks, what may be the vyavastha for asthule vikarasya? That is what we have to understand. What is the question? Ki asthuleshu vikareshu katham vyavastha karanam? Ki how are you going to understand the management of asthule vikareshu? That is what the answer that gave me this title actually, Prakriti Vikar. He says we have to go for Prakriti Samanyam. That is what the original shlok also has. Tatha Prakriti Samanyam Vikareshu Upadishyate. We have to go for Prakriti Samanyam Samana Karanata. Tena Anukteshu. That is what, if I haven't told you, if it is not been described sakshat, that is practically, but still Vyadhishu, we can diagnose them as Vata Joyam, Shleshma Joyam, तथा रस जोयम रक्तो जोयम इत्यादि का चिकित्सा व्यवहारार्थम व्यवस्था कर्तव्य इति भावः. That is what we have to understand कि we have to target the samana karanata, right? So if we are able to understand that cause which is going to cause the diseases in the in a very big population at the same time, and the host which are going to be affected, then only we will be able to produce this Prakriti Vihar. That is why I'll come to the point what I'm trying to emphasize. Now Prakriti is Karan, Prakriti is Hetu, Prakriti is causes. So which is the description? This is also it's a very famous reference. I have taken this reference from Janapadodam Singh Adhyay. Right? We have read this chapter maybe many times in the last 3 4 months. That is what the first shlok when the title comes ki Janapadodam Singh Adhyay Vyakhyachayama, when he says Chakrapani is quick to explain ki why is this chapter so important, because he says there are two types of hetus for a disease, specifically pandemic context. He says, कि विविधो हेतुः व्याधि जनकः प्राणिनां भवति, right? Which are those causes? First is sadharan causes and second is asadharan causes. Everybody knows that asadharan causes. We are quite famous or accustomed to use that asadharan, that is dusham, desham, balam, kalam, everything, which is prati purusha niyatam, which is different in different subjects. And second type is Bahujana Sadharanam, that is which is common for a very big population. He has given the names like Vata, Jala, Desha, Kala, there can be many more, right? So these are going to cause the disease in at which is going to affect a larger number of population at one time. So we have to pay attention to both these causes, asadharan hetus and sadharan hetus, because sadharan hetu will come and attack our body, but what are the sadharan hetus which are produced in the host, which are present in that body, which the sadharan hetus are going to attack, that are also at that much important, that I'll explain in the next slide maybe. Yes, this is the reference which we get from Hemadri. Uh, Hemadri explains in the Tika of the first chapter, and this is again a very common shlok, Vayupitam Kapashcheti Triyodosha Samasatah. Bhagavad here give the names of the three doshas. However, when Hemadri explains ki why this shlok comes in the first chapter itself, he says, Atha Pratijnatam Vyadhi Pratikaram Vyachashte. Right? This book has the pratijna of Vyadhi Pratikar, and it can be done by three methods: Hetu, Lakshana, and Aushadha knowledge. Right? Again, the first Hetu. Hetu is of two types: Antarango, Bahirangascheti, and that is important. Bahiranga is external causes, while Antarango are internal causes. That is what Hemadri says. Hemadri says Antarango Dvidha. It is of two types. First is Doshaha, and second is Dushascha iti. So you have to pay attention. What is the scenario right now? Ki we are paying a lot of attention for this Bahiranga Hetu, the external cause, but we are not paying that much attention to this Antaranga causes or the internal causes, which are nothing but dosha as well as doshas, according to the reference. Now we'll come to the next external causes, that is also quite nicely explained in our books, in the Aganto Ketu's references, Ye Bhuta Vishabhavage Kshatrabhangadi Sambhavaha Raga Dvesha Bhayadyascha Tesur Agantako Vedaha. I'm not going to go into detail of the rest of the topics. I have taken only the Visha topic because again Visha is quite close to this pandemic, or Visha Sankalpana is quite close to this topic. I'm not going to go into explaining all the types of vishas, what is vishas, but only the word, the visha is quite enough. Only the word visha is quite enough to make us understand the pandemic in the visha context. Uh, why this pandemic reminds me of visha actually, right? If we go to the etymology of the word visha, we can understand by Madhukosh. He says vishada janakatvat nisham, anything which will produce lethargy, depression. According to Hemachandra, I'll go only the meanings, that is depressive. He used very nice words actually. The original Sanskrit words are more better actually. It causes jadya, it causes avasad, it causes maurkhya, that is murkhata or mudata. It causes avasadaha, it causes sadaha, it causes vishannata. So these are the situations, and this is the specifically this is the condition of everybody, I think, in the last 3 4 months, and it is increasing because the current pandemic situation has created a lot of anxiety and a sense of fear everywhere. And that is what reminds me of, again, if you go to that Kshira Samudra Manthan, when that Visha was produced, that is the word which we find there also. Ki everybody was fearful, afraid of that entity, what is Visha. Similarly, here also, we are quite afraid of this pandemic that much ki we are quite lethargic, depressed, we are quite heavy, stupor, maybe in response also, right? That is why the psychology is important, and Charakacharya has included that psychology also in the form of Shankha Visham, and that is why I have translated it into some other words. That is, am I affected right now? Right? The words are quite good. They come after the snake bite topic in Charachikitsa 23. He says, Durandhatare Viddhasya Kenachit Vishashankaya. Right? So he is doubtful. And I'm quite confident, including me also. In the last 3 4 months, if I have maybe 1 or 2 days of a running nose, or some itching in my throat, or maybe feverish feeling, maybe headache, we definitely land into an assumption: ki, am I affected? Am I got exposed? Or am I the one which who should go and test myself, and maybe I'm the infected person? Because that is the psychology of Visha. That is the psychology which he takes it, which the Visha entity takes us to. But it is not only psychologically. If you see, he says ki Vishodvega Juraschardihi Murcha Dahapi va bhavet Glanihi Mohati Sarascha Apyeta Shanka Vishamatam. Right? The patient will not stay at the psychological or the mental level. he will produce some physical symptoms also. As here in Shankavish Prakaran, we can understand he will suffer from fever, vomiting, giddiness, burning sensation, tiredness, confusion, diarrhea. So if a person who has not been bitten still can produce so many physical symptoms, definitely today, even if we are not infected, we can produce these symptoms, and that is what is very important to understand the host. That is what we can say in other words, that is sattva pariksha of the patient. He should be that strong. Every sneeze, every coughing, every bout of fever is not COVID. We have to be strong in that area, and we have to understand logically, rationally, not blindly. We have to follow our dosha and dusha sankalpana of the body. We have to understand the host, and that is why I'll slowly take you to the host consideration. What happens in and where do you find that host understanding? From where did I take that topic? In Charak Sutras and chapter 25, Yajna Purusha there. There is a very bold statement which we find ki hitahara upayoga eka eva. And why I'm using that word ki a bold statement or a overconfident statement, because whenever we use the word eka eva, then definitely it is a confident or overconfident statement. He says ki hitahara upayoga eka eva purusha vritti karo bhavati. Any teacher, if he uses these words in today's context also, the student will definitely ask some questions, and that is what Agnivesh does. That I'll take you on the next slide. What is the question? But similar, here the word is hita ahara, and that is why the food topic is important. Because if we see the Sushruta Kalpastan chapter 1, Annaraksha, here also Sushrutaracharya, when starts the chapter, Dhalnacharya is quick to make us aware of why is Annaraksha first in Kalpastan, because he is going to explain you the total Visha Chikitsa in Kalpastan. But the first chapter is not related to direct poison. He's making you aware of the Anna Visha or Anna Raksha. He says, Tatra swasthasya vyadhi kshinasya cha, both. Annaihi eva prananam dharanam kriyate. Right? So it is the food which will perform the function of prana dharan in swastha also, in vyadhikshin also. And that is what is the topic which I will emphasize. What should be the food habits? We have to understand what we are eating, what we are serving actually in this pandemic to the patients who are already infected in hospitals, in government hospitals or in private hospitals, or if we have one in our own home, we have to understand his food. We have to make him aware which food he has to take and which he should be avoiding in these conditions. So coming to the doubt, when Agnivesh hears it, he asks, ki, similar, because these words, these are quite common in students' mouth actually. They always say, sir, आपने तो ऐसे कहा था, but now you are saying this. Because Agnivesh says, Dushyante hi Bhagwan. Right? I'm not going to into the detail ki why he is calling Bhagwan and what is Bhagwan. It is not God in the sense. Bhagwan is a very different sankalpana which comes in Charak in the first chapter. Chakrapani explains ki what who is said to be a Bhagwan. So isn't that we see in the society? Drushyante hi Bhagwan ki hita samakhyatam aharam upayunjana vyadhimantascha. That is, if a person is having only wholesome, only hitakarak ahar we have, but still ahar actually, but still he is diseased, then how can you say ki hita ahita upayog is shubha ashubha vishesha upalamha? That how can only food be responsible for good health and bad health or disease in the person's life? And that is what the answer is, very, very, very close for my topic. We have to understand, of course, food is important. That is why only food is not important. Again, we will have quite a few things which are important. The host things are important as well as the guest capacity is important. What does the answer suggest? He says, Ahitahar, Upayoginam, Punaha, Karanato, Na Sadyo Doshavan Bhavati. That is very important. Ki, we can change that hitahar or sorry, ahitahar word by infection. If that infection upayogi naam na punah ka na sadya doshavan, if that infection comes, it is not going to produce immediate effect. Na sadya doshavan, right? Nahi sarvani apatyani. Again, we can add the word infectionani maybe. Nahi sarvani infectionani tulya doshani, right? They are not going to go and disturb your doshas that much, right? Immediately. First is immediately, dosh prakop is not going to happen. Even if it happens, the third line, nacha sarve doshaha tulya balaha, right? Even if that dosha prakop occurs, it is not going to have that tulyabal maybe to produce diseases, and that is very important, and that is what the modern pathologists also accept to a certain extent. That is why the last two lines are important, which I have taken from the presentation. They use the word trafficking of incoming virus. That is what is important. The trafficking, how much virus is reaching the host, and the critical mass of the genetic material which it carries. That is very important. The same images I have repeated so that you can revise it. The trafficking is important and the critical mass of the genetic material is very important to produce a simple disease also, or maybe to progress the disease to the fulminant stage. Similarly, in that reference only, the third reason, then the fourth reason is Vyadhi Kshamatve Samarthani. Ki nahi sarvani sharirani Vyadhi Kshamatve Samarthani bhavanti. You have to understand here all the bodies are not resistant, right? Or not every body will have the power to resist the diseases, and that is important where we consider the first reference of Vyadhi Kshamatva in Ayurveda. And Chakrapani is quite clear in his explanation. He says, ki what is Vyadhi Kshamatva? Vyadhi Kshamatvam nama Vyadhi Bala Virodhitvam Vyadhi Utpada Pratibandhakatvam iti. He says ki it is the capacity to fight against the power of the disease, right? The disease has occurred actually, and then whatever the potency of the disease is, we have to be more potent than the disease. Use we have to be more powerful than the disease so that we can fight it. That is the first stage, or the first meaning actually, or the capacity to avoid incidence or production or occurrence of the disease in its first place, and that occurs first actually. That is what we have to be more inclined to. We should be that powerful so that the disease is not produced, and that is what we are saying in our simple prayojanas also swastha se swasthya rakshan. We have to be that clear we have to be that powerful the disease is not produced in our body. So who may be the people who will produce more diseases, or who will be more complicated diseases, or who will be landing more in fulminant types of these pandemic situations? He clearly gives the characteristics, Charakachar. He says, Sharirani cha ati sthulani, ati krushani, anivishta maunsa shonita asthini, durbalani, asatmya ahara upachitani, alpaharani, alpasatvani cha. So these are the diseases, these are the characteristics which we have to find. If a group of people, if a large group of population is infected, we have to separate these people. These are the more vulnerable population. This is the more population which we have to pay attention to, right? No need to explain why they are more vulnerable, but we can understand. Overweight person, the first one, of course, he himself is quite in himself. It is he's in a very syndromic condition where he himself may be having much more complicated disease already. Then this infection is attacking it. Then it will be more complicated. Ati Krushani, he himself is not having that much power to grow, or that power to resist the disease. Similarly, he has used specific words like Animishta Mausa Shonita Asti. These are specific dhatus which he is targeting. Maybe that is related to the Vatadi Ashraya Bhav also. Durbalani, if he is already weak, right? Satme Ahara Upachitani. This is very important. If the person has grown on not so ideal, not so wholesome food, right? Alpaharani, if he doesn't have that good balanced diet regularly also. Alpasatvani, such people will be landing more in that Shankavish pattern, or even if they get disease, even if they get disease, they it may fast land into fulmination, because we know Vishado Roga Vardhananam. If the patient is already depressed, he will land into more complications. So we have to pay attention to all these host characteristics. That is what will decide the progress of the disease. Some more details of the host. This has been taken from Madhurdan. He says, Ajirna pitta tapapiditeshu, baleshu vradeshu, bubhukshiteshu, kshinakshathe mehini kushtayukte, rukshe bale garbhavatishu chapi. No need to explain why Garbhavati may be more affected, but more important are not only the aged or the children are included, but simple or different characteristics are also included here. He says Ajirna. If a person is already in Ajirna Avastha, he'll be having more symptoms of dosha. Why? Because in ajirna already doshatraya prakop has occurred. So if a external visha like substance attacks him or her, then definitely visha is already tridosha prakopa. That will be a deadly combination. Again, pittata pipiditeshu, both the things, pitta as well as atap, they create more roksha. More roksha is more vayu and more spread, right? Bubukshiteshu, kshinakshate, and no need to explain why Mehini and Kushta Yukta, right? They are already Raktadi doshat, right? That is the explanation which Madhukosh gives. In such patients, Visha will be Ashughati. It will be more, these people will go from the Susadhya Avastha to maybe Kruchusadhya, Yapya, Asadhya Avastha very fast. That is what, if you see the modern stages, they'll be landing more into septicemia, septic shock stages. Why? Because they don't have that capacity to fight such a dreadful external disease. And now, who is coming and what is it disturbing in the body? Dosha. We'll talk about dosha. That doshas are the internal causes. Half of the internal causes. We saw about the dhatus now in the previous slide. This is about the dosha. So eva dosha. That is the external factor has disturbed the doshas. And how are the doshas? If they are samsushta yonihi, if there are mixed multiple causes, that is vata pitta is mixed, vata kapha is mixed, pitta kapha is mixed, it is very tough to treat. Even if a prakriti is also tough to treat, that is why we say ki vidosha jatu ninda jaha, right? If it is viruddhopakram, that is what I am telling. If it's shita and ushna virya, then you can't use both the viryas at the same time. It is tough to treat. Then you have to go for other uh, modalities of treatment. Gambhiranugataha is a topic which is exclusively only in Ayurveda. We can understand Gambhiranugata means if the doshas are already seated in the deeper dhatus, that is Meda, Asthi, Majja, Shukra, maybe Oj also. So if a person is having already diseases which are Gambhiranugat, and if the external factor comes and it disturbs the doshas which are already in Gambhiranugat, then it will be very difficult for us to control the pandemic. Chirasthitaha, if it is chronic, the chronicity. I'll give you just a simple example which we have seen in this pandemic. The person who is more on the ventilator is lesser the chances of getting off the ventilator. It is a common finding. It is not in everybody, but it is a common finding. So the more chronicity, if he is already diseased with chronic diseases, it will be more dreadful for him. Pranayatana samuttaha, that is very important. Pranayatana samuttaha. If we see the list of pranayatana, that is Shanko, Marmatrayam, Kanto, Raktam, Shukro, Jasigutam, it is very surprising to see that Kantha has been included there. And this pandemic, generally, from where are the swabs collected? From the nasal cavity or the Kantha, that is the pharynx. So many times we have to understand ki if the disease itself is getting lodged or he sits in the pranayatan, then it will be more kshiprakari, it will be more kashtatamaha. Marmopagati, the last point. If it is sitting in the marmas, not the detail 107, 108 marmas, but even if we reduce it to sadhya pranadharma, that is shira basti. So if the viruses or the external factors are attacking our marmas, then it is going to be very difficult for us to control that disease here, right? That is why we have to understand which are the sites where the external factors are getting lodged. And we have a detailed explanation in our Visha Chikitsa chapter. If it is Kapha Deshagam, the patient will cause or the patient will come with breathlessness. That is Shwas, Galagraha, Kandu, Lala, Amathwadi. These will be the symptoms. So we have to guess the patient's external factors have attacked his Kapha Desh, right? Uh, this is a slide which I have uh, tried to construct according to the severity of the disease. Of course, it comes in the context of Sarpavish, but the Kala Sharir gives us a site where uh, it is the Sharira Dharan Krama, while the Raktagat Rasagat Avastha is the Poshan Krama. So you have to understand if the external factors, as they are coming from external, they'll be coming in the contact with the external kalas maybe first. So that is why if they are crossing these kalas, Mausudhara kala, then Rakta, then Medo, then Shleshma, then Purush, then Pitta, then Shukra, then it may be it is just my maybe you can call it an hypothesis. It is my feeling that may take us into more severe conditions. Similarly, we have conditions where we have vyadhis who have dhatugata avastha. So we have to compare the symptoms whenever patient comes to us, so that we can understand, maybe according to Ayurveda, that particular host is in which stage. Is he in medogata avastha, the doshas are in asthigata avastha, majjagata avastha, or maybe in shukragata avastha, because we say that shukrasthastu na siddhyati. So it will be a very pratyakya decision to take or to treat such patients. And that is what the latest condition suggests. If we see in the two slides before, we saw ki kapha sthanagata. This is pitta sthanagata. I'm not going to go into the details ki what are the symptoms, but my only point is this the condition today? Maybe some days back it was kapha sthanagata, and now it is in pitta sthana gata avastha. So if it that is the avastha, definitely our medicines should change. As the sthan will change, definitely our medicines will be changed. And maybe a stage can come where it will be sarva dehagat. And if it is sarva dehagat, then definitely our medicines will be quite different. So Ayurveda has a lot of arsenal here. If we have sthana predominant or sthan attacking medicines also. So we have to understand the doshas, dushas, sthan. Uh, Now, how are doshas produced? Here comes again the importance of food. We have to understand the half of the internal cause, that is dosha production. And seemingly it appears very simple, but we have to understand that doshas are also produced on a daily basis in our body. And they are produced in the first stages of digestion, that is Prathamavasthapak, Dvitiyavasthapak, and Trutiyavasthapak. So we have to understand the food which is being given to the patients. If it is more madhuradhyat, or if it is more kapha bhavat, if it is going to produce more kapha, and if the external factor is looking for kapha as his friend in the body, then definitely it will cause more harm, right? If the external factor is looking for pitta for friendship, then definitely if the body is pitta pradhan, if the food is pitta pradhan, if the pitta is going to increased on a high basis, then definitely the patient may land into more fulminant disease. Similar about vayu also. So you have to understand what type of food we are giving, so that the dosha production is controlled. Same is with the dusha production. We find it in our digestion process in Grahana Chikitsa Adhyay. It's a very classical reference. Only the first line I would read and the last line maybe. Yatha swam swam cha pushnati dehe dravya gunaha prutak. That is important. Ki, how is the deha portion going to occur depending upon the dravya gunaha. Dravya gunaha means what are the food products which the patient or the healthy body is going to take. And depending on that, the dhatus are going to be produced. And how are they going to produce? Then there is an internal factor of Agni. Yatha swam Agni bihi pakam. And the last two words are very important. Yanti kitta prasadavat. Right? So how is the food and how is the Agni of the patient? And how is their reaction actually? How it is going to be digested? That will depend how the dhatus will be produced. Maybe the dhatus can be produced kittavat with no good properties to withstand the disturbances or attacks from the external factor. Or maybe the dhatus which are produced, the food is good, the Agni is good. That is why the dhatus which are be produced, they will be prasadavat, right? They will be very good. They will be with ideal properties. So they will be helping to sustain all the attacks. And such people will definitely be able to fight those external factors quite nicely. So now I think we are coming to the treatment part, and that is the first thing to do: protect the heart. Right? That again, I have taken the topic from the Visha Chikitsa. We have to do Hrudaya Varanam, and Charakacharya uses the quite classical words here. He says ki Adav Hrudayam Raksha. First thing, and what is Adav? Adav iti Sarva Upakrama Adav. It is the first thing in the total protocol. You have to always go for the heart. We have to protect the heart, and that is what the word are quite suggestive. Yatha labham iti vakshamanam Hrudaya Varanam Yogeshu Yatha Prapti Hrudaya Varanam. So we have to find the yogas, we have to find the formulations, we have to find the medicines which will produce a Hrudaya Varanam. That is, it is not it will produce a sheath against the heart or nothing will reach the heart, but it will make the heart more strong so that it can be able to fight again, because rasa srotas, rasava sroto mool is hridaya. From there everything is going to be
circulated all over the body. That is what very important. That is what is the important part of it. We have to protect the heart as it is the most vital organ in the body. Dalanacharya also uses the word same word. I think there is a spelling mistake here. It is Rudaya Raksha Karibihi. That is, you have to select the patients, sorry, the medicines which are Rudaya Raksha Kari, right? And how are you going to do that? We are going to use rasayanas for it. And again, a topic which the sequence of the book is very important here. In the first chapter itself, Arundatta, when we see Kaya Bala Gruhodvanga Shalya Damshtra Jara Vrushan, in its Tika, he says why it is the sequence. He explains the sequence, but after Visha, Rasayan comes. So he explains कि विषेण आशुच मरणम संभव्यमाने रसायन उपयोग युक्त iti, right? As Visha will cause immediate death, there are chances of death very fast. We have to use rasayanas in Visha Chikitsa, right? And that is why Rasayan path is always seventh. And second reason again, if we are already in this pandemic, he says, Athva Vishasya Rasayana Jayatvat, right? Visha can be won with the help of Rasayanas. That is why Rasayana Kathana Prastavan. That is why Rasayanas are being told after Visha Chikitsa or Daushta Chikitsa. Not going to go into the details, but the important part is Shreshthanam Rasa Rudhiradinam. We never use the word Shreshthanam Doshanam, right? Shastanam Doshadinam. It is always Shastanam Rasadinam because they are going to fight. Doshas are, it's like a double-edged sword. That is why the word comes na ki vikruta vikruta deham gnanti te vartayanti cha. It is a double-edged sword. If it is avikrut, it is going to be yapayanti, vartayanti. But if it is vikrut, it is gnanti, nashayanti. So we are not going to go into Shastanam Doshadinam. It's always Shastanam Rasadinam because they're always supportive to the body. So Rasayanas will definitely take care of the dhatus. Rasadi, Saptadhatus, Oj and Upadhatus, etc. Dalanacharya explains that Rasayan point in a very different words also. He says, Bheshaj Ashritanam, Rasa, Virya, Vipaka, Prabhavanam, they will increase Ayu, Bal, Varna, Dardya, Vayas, Thairya, Karanam, and that is what is Ayana, that is what is Labhopayo, and that is what is Rasayan. So these are the things which we have to keep with ourselves before handling or taking a patient with such pandemics. So the first weapon, again, we have three weapons always, not a single weapon, not only the medicines. We always manage our patients with Ahar, Vihar, and Aushad. So the first weapon is always Ahar. 2-3 slides on Ahar, but I'll go very fast now. I think it's almost 11:58 now. More 15 minutes maybe. Ahar management. Here wheat, green gram, green peas. I've taken the simple examples so that we can understand what are they going to do in the body. And Ayurveda is a science which goes into very details of how the food products are going to act in your body. I'll straight away go to the fourth Bengal gram, which is generally known as chana, harbare, what is called in Marathi. We say it is Jwaranashanaha, Vatalaha, Pitta Rakta Kafapaha. That are the basic properties. But still, if it is Angara Brushta, if it is Taila Brushta, if it is Ardra Brushta, and if it is Shushka Brushta, then it has different properties. So you have to understand in that level how Ayurveda is quite different from other sciences. We have taken very important, or we have stressed more on the food part. You have to understand if you are going to give patients wheat, it is Vata Pittahar and Kapha Shukra Prada. So you have to understand if the external attacker, if the pandemic is Kapha Pradhan, if it is producing more symptoms related to Kapha, then wheat should be given less, very less. It should be avoided from your diet. If it is more Vata Pradhan, we have to go for wheat. Understand? We have to understand the symptomatology and we have to understand the host. Similar, some different examples. I've taken milk. We all know these are all the references from Bhav Prakash. I'll urge everybody to read the food chapter or this particular point from Bhav Prakash because it is quite new. It is hardly 16th, 17th century. So you'll get quite many substances which are used today also. Right? Charak Sushrit are quite old books. So exact substances which we are eating today, they are not found. I have taken the last two examples to make you understand that. But first about milk. we know, or we should be knowing, ki if it is a buffalo milk, it is gavyat guru, gavyat nidrakaram, gavyat abhishandi, right? It is more guru, more nidrakar, more abhishandi. So that has to be reduced from definitely the hospitals which are serving this food to the patients. If they are treating patients with more kapha pradhan, more abhishandi patients, right? They can shift to cow milk. Uh, the last 2 points are about kadhi. Kadhi is a quite popular substance which we eat regularly, and Bhavprakash is quite uh, enough to tell the properties also. He's saying it is Pachani, Rucha, Lagvi, Vanni Pradipani, but it is Kafanila Vibandhagni, and it is Kinchit Pitta Prakopini. So you have to understand, if a pandemic comes and if it is more related to Pitta, if it is increasing Pitta, if it is causing maybe hemorrhagic disorders, bleeding disorders, we have to understand that that is the substance which we have to avoid from that, from going inside the patient's body. Now, because now we will be landing into, after 1 or 2 months we'll be landing into Sharadarutu, that will be Pitta Prakopak. So you have to have the list of Pitta Prakopak Ahar, and we have to reduce that, and we have to stop that going into the patient's body. Lemon juice also, that is also a very common substance which we drink regularly. It is, the last word is more important. It is samastahara pachakam. Bhavprakash is quite glad to tell how to prepare a lemon juice also. It has the exact proportion also. How much lemon juice, how much water, how much sugar you have to take. And that is samastahara pachakam. And that is why many times we see a patient is having indigestion gases. He takes a lemon juice and he feels quite okay. Maybe this is the reason, right? Last slide about food, different fruits actually I have taken. Pomegranate, how is it? It is Tridoshagna, it is Jwaranashan, it is Rutkantha Mukha Gandhagnam. Excuse me. It tells in quite detail properties of many fruits. The last line is, maybe it is not acceptable for many people because mangoes are quite close to our heart, but still he says Amrati Yogo. He gives the symptoms of Amrati Yoga also. He says it may cause Mandalatvam, Vishamajuram, Raktamayam, Baddhagudodaram, Nayanamayam va. So if we are seeing patients, or if the pandemic is of this stage, if we are seeing more Nayanamaya patients in June, May, June, so we have to go back to their eating habits. We have to understand, has the patient exposed to more mangoes? Has he eaten more mangoes maybe in the last 1 or 2 months? And that may be the reason why he is having these problems. Second is Vihar management, that we are doing on a very large scale today also, right? Prasangat Gatra Sosparshad. But we have to understand that this is not only enough, right? This is only one part. This is maybe the 1/3 part according to Ayurveda. Ahar, Vihar, and Aushad. The more important word is Prasangat. What is Prasangat? Prasangat iti prasangena abhyasena krutat puna puna krutat. Repeatedly the patient is getting exposed, right? That is very important, specifically if we are working in a hospital which has pandemic patients, right? If we are repeatedly exposed, that is a very strong cause for infection, right? So of course it has covered all the topics. Sushruth has covered all the topics in Kushtanidan. What the first slide we saw, there was a word which was like fomites, right? That is what here he uses, ki having food together on the same utensils, using bed linens, using common clothes. These are fomites, which we are quite used to now, these words in the last 3 months. Again, some points from the Dinacharya. Quite clearly, he has definitely trying to emphasize on behavioral hygiene, which is very important today. I'll just go into the highlighted points. Nicha Roma Nakash Mashru, Nirmal Angri Malayanaha. We have to keep your hair, nails, external orifices clean. Suveshaha, right? Wear clean clothes, change your clothes daily, wash it properly. There's an interesting word, Yuga Matra Druk Vicharit. We have to walk with 4 hasta. Yuga is Chatuhastam, Arundatta says. But it's quite, I found it quite funny actually, because we use the word quite commonly, ki mujhse 4 haath dur raho. That 4 haath is here, Yuga Matra Druk, which is Yuga Matra Druk. And today also, in this social distancing environment, we have to understand this Yuga Matra, right? We have to keep this Yuga Matra distance from everybody around us if they are uh, working in mm, a separate area. Again, Nasavruta Mukhagurat Kshruti Hasya Vijrumbhanam. You have to close your mouth while sneezing, laughing, yawning. Only these three things have been included because it is a Dinacharya chapter. It is for the Swastha people actually. So coughing has not been included here, but we can understand the level of hygiene about which Ayurveda goes into the details. Nasikamna vikushniyat, do not put fingers in your nose unnecessarily, right? We have this habit of doing this. But the more important thing is uh, the fourth point, which was in the mode of transmission, self inoculation. So I have touched an infected surface, maybe a fomite, and then I'm touching my nose. This is self inoculation, and that has to be controlled. That has also been quite nicely explained in the Dinacharya. So this is the Vihar management. Third and the last management is the uh, medicines, ahar, vihar, and aushad. So we have to use the medicines which are srotas oriented. We have to understand which srotas is affected. So I'm just going to go into 2-3 srotasas and the whole body. Prana srotas, abrak bhasma, one of the best medicines I suggest, because uh, it is a very good medicine which acts on the pranavasotas. But the words which attracts us when we read as an Ayurvedic physician, he says ki it is pradna bodhi, the last line, pradna bodhi, right? Means it will compel you to act properly. That is very important in this pandemic situation. Many times we have seen key people are getting gathered without any reason. They're not understanding the seriousness of the problem, and we have to make them understand it. That is why we have to have some medicines which are, of course, acting on the physical level of the body as well as the mental level. That is why Pradna Bodhi is a very good property. Mrityum Bhitim Harati. Again, I told you, we can consider it as a Visha. So definitely the person will have this Bhiti of Mrityu and Abrak. And these are not my words; these are the book words. It says ki it will reduce the fear of death. That is very important in pandemic situations. Lakshmi Lasras, Lakshmi Las Kuti. I'm not going to go into very details, but everybody knows these are quite good medicines which will act. Lakshmi Lasras specifically acts more on the lung pathology. Lakshmi Las Kuti, it acts more on the heart pathology. And I have taken all these references from Aushadhi Gunadharma Shastra. It is the best book to understand the Shastra medicines actually, right? Another target. I have included this because in the last 1 month or 15 days or so, we are getting more symptoms related to Annavasrotas. So you should have this arsenal also. That is why the word is arsenal. It is not only single medicine, a single system, single weapon. We have to have everything: Navy, Air Force, right? The Army, right? Everything should be there with us. That is why the word arsenal was being used, right? Annavasrutas, we should have Kapardik Bhasma, Shauktik Bhasma, right? Parinabadi Shulagni, it's a very classical drug. Agni Mandyagni, Pitta Asra Kafanashini, right? It will control the bleeding also. Shauktik Bhasma, Shwasanashak, Rudroganashak, even if it is a GIT medicine, which we put it generally, but it has a very good property of Shwasa Rudroganashini. And we should not forget also that Pranavasrutas has been assigned the Mulasthanas as Hrudayamulam Mahasrutascha. What is Mahasrutas? It is the GIT. So even if you are targeting the Pranavasrutas, we should not forget that the Pranavasrutas has its mool in the Mahasrutas. So you can't bypass the GIT. We should have the GIT controlled with us, right? Anand Bhairavas, Karpuraras. Anand Bhairavas may be the upper 2/3 of the GIT is covered with Anand Bhairavas. Grahanyati Sareshu, Kasa Shwasani, again Meheshu. Karpuras may be the last 1/3, and important targeted is the whole body. If we are going to target the whole body, Loha Bhasma, Suvarna Bhasma, right? They have the symptoms which are generally targeted in the whole body, right? Jantu Vikar, it's a very good word. If we are targeting specifically organisms, microorganisms for such pandemic situations, we should have some good Kurubigna medicines with us. Suvarna Bhasma, again, it is Doshatraya Shwasagnam. Doshatraya. It acts on the three doshas. Vishadvaya Haram, right? It is able to control both the types of vishas, right? Sthavar Jangam Vish, Ayush Pragam, Arogyavardhani, Gandak, Rasayan, right? These are not the specific. I'm using the word. This has to be understood. Ki where the pandemic is going to live in the body, which system it is going to use for reproduction. That doshas and that dhatus have to be corrected, and they have to be given the ultimate strength. Prabal Panchamrut, Laghumalini Vasanta. Again, Laghumalini Vasanta has been in the discussion for quite a long time now due to its zinc content. But remember that zinc content has has been included in many Vasanta Kalpas, and that is what is the specialty of all these Vasanta Kalpas. They produce new dhatus, new Prashasta dhatus, right? Similar to the Vasanta Rutu. So Laghumalini Vasanta will act differently. Suvarna Malini Vasanta will act differently. Madhumalini Vasanta has a total different adhikar to be used. Last two kalpas, I think, Trailoka Chintamani, Hemagarbha Potali. Again, these are the final kalpas. As a Rasa Shastri, we have this reference ki Potali should be the last option. But today we are getting a lot of patients with these sinking patients symptoms, right? So we have to keep these two weapons also with us, like Trailoka Chintamani, because the word is very classical here. He says, Viryam Vardhayate, Visham Chaharate, right? And Hemagarbha Potali, again, Sarva Rogeshu Datavyo, right? We can use it in quite a lot of symptoms. Again, I think we are coming to the end of the slides. After the, I think the pathway. This is again the arsenal. We have different medicines which will act on different sites. That is what I told about the Kantha. Right? We have medicines which will directly target only the Kantha, Kantha Gate Vishe. Then Amashay Gate Vishe, we have different medicines. Mausa Gate Vishe, different medicines. Pakwa Shaya Gate and Sarveshu Gate. These are just the examples from Charak Chikitsastan. We can understand, we can take the case of the patient, and we can understand which system has been damaged or which system is being used by the host or by the guest, and we have to give ball to that system, and we have to give the medicines which will directly act on that system. Shankhavisham, again we have talked about that, but the interesting part is ki Charakacharya doesn't only leaves it saying psychological. He gives you medicines also, and solid separate dravya chikitsa he is giving. He is saying ki Kuryat Ashvasanam Buddha, right? That is what we have done. We have counseled the patient. We have given him the courage. We have talked with him. But we have to give him medicines also. According to Charak, he gives Sita Vajandiko, Draksha, Payasya, Madhukam, Madhu. And he is covering both. Sattva Vajay also he has covered. He has covered Yukta Vipashe. And the last line, he is covering the Deva Vipashe part also. He is saying Panam Samantra Putambu Prokshanam Santva Harshanam. So these are our plus points. These are our more different points which we have to highlight when we are practicing as an Ayurvedic physician, or we are using our science to combat such pandemics. We have to look on the Daiva Parsha, Yukti Parsha as well as Sattva Vajay Chikitsa. Now these are the fast. I'll run through the slides very fast. These are only the do's and the don'ts. But we have to understand ki these points, Ayusham Bhojanam, Jirne, Veganam cha Vidharanam, Brahmacharyam, Ahimsa, Sahasanam cha Varjam. These are the points which are going to disturb your doshas, internal dhatus, they are going to disturb. So we are going to be more vulnerable. If you are not following these, then these are the points which can give us the answers ki why only some people are getting infected, some are not infected. Maybe if 10 people are going in the ward and only 2 people are infected, then why are these only 2 people infected? Because we have to, of course, we can't always go for immunity. That is not our part actually, to be very frank. Our part is always our references. They give us a very different view of the patient body or the host's body. These are the things which we have to avoid. These are the things which we have to avoid again from according to Sushrut, right? Sleeping in the daytime, Vyavayam cha, Vyayamam, Krodham, Atapam. He again gives some substances also, Sura, Tila, Kulathanscha. Standard of recovery. This is very important. Even if the patient is negative, right? We have to always go for this. It's a very classical reference according to Madhavan. He says, Prashanta dosham, Prakrutistha datum, Annabhikamam, Samamutra vitkam, Prasanna varnendriya chitta cheshtam vaidyavam avisham manusham, right? So it is not only the reports we have to look for, we have to look for the patient. If his doshas and dhatus have started the normal functions properly, if his agni malamutra is properly, if his skin texture is regaining, because by just looking at the patient we understand if the patient is good or bad, right? His mind has to be clear. There are many examples actually which we see. If the patient has recovered, he should be in his normal mindful condition also. If it is not written in that, that is not the ideal stage. This is the point which has been highlighted by Madhukosh. He says Samasutra Jiva has been mentioned somewhere in Sushruta, of course. But he specifically uses the word Vishajushta Jiva na rasabodhini bhavanti. That is, if the patient is affected or if the tongue is affected by Visha, he doesn't perform the function of taste properly, which we see a lot in today's scenario. After cure also, we have to look at for these points, so that because we have this convalescence period, we have to understand these things and we have to educate the patient to avoid these factors also, right? Rutu Shodhan, that was the last slide. After that, I will come to that feedback point. We have to see if the patient goes for regular Shodhan so that his doshas and dhatus are proper. Such sudden attacks won't disturb the body that much, right? So these are the things. Again, last images, some images, right? First we were in the respiratory tract, then we came to the blood clots, then we came to the airborne type, then we have reached the diarrhea type now, then the brain also, right? So the roadmap, what can be the roadmap? This is the last point. I'll maybe in 2 minutes I'll be finishing. We have to find the prakriti of the pandemic, right? Understand the internal causes, understand the external causes, educate the doubtful, right? Explain the host, which may make him vulnerable. Uh, Understand the guest. Be vigilant about the other srotas also. What can be attacked next? What can be its further course? That can be found in the Kala Sharir or the Visha Sharir. Control the doshas and the dusha production by controlling the Ahar as well as Agni. Protect the viral vitals, that is Rudavaran. Uh, Educate about the food which we saw. We have to serve him proper food, understanding the dosha prakop avastha in the patient. Make him educate about his behavior, right? Find medicines according to the site, pranavasotas, rasavasotas, raktavasotas, whatever the site is. Treat the body as a whole using rasayanas, support the mind, and bring him to his normal equilibrium. Remember that Ayurveda understands or thinks that every patient's normal equilibrium will be different. So we have to bring him to that. That will be the final stage, and monitor after being cured for behavior, and take the control of the doshas. I would suggest that was my topic actually. We have to avoid the reproduction of favorable playground. That is prakriti for the outside guest. Anyways, the outside guests are coming to the host every day, but we are the ones, we have to avoid the reproduction of favorable playground. That may be this prakriti, and that is possibly possible only through Ayurveda, which has this ahar vihar aushad broad spectrum of thinking. I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your patient hearing. I don't know how many people are hearing because of this slides, but uh, thank you everybody. And maybe if you have any, can go for if any doubts. And I don't assure I'll be able to clear all the doubts, but according to my capacity, you can ask. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello, is it audible? Out of
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is audible.
So it was really a very wonderful feast for all the scholars of Ayurveda to have a classical approach for this pandemic. And sir started with a very classical approach of Charak, where he was very precise to find that reference of asadharan and sadharan. That is pratipurusha niyata hetu, even in pandemics. That was really very important part. And then he was again having some humor, where he had quoted that Morkha is there in the Visha Chikitsa, or the definition of Visha, because Shanka Visha is what again very important part is. And followed by that, he again came to the very important part, that is ki diet. And then he came to the verse, the famous verse, Hita 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 Hara Eka Eva. And again, in spite of that, along with that, what will be another factors? Actually, it's like a very big kaleidoscope view. It's actually really a very big view. But sir has very well comprehended it for all of us. And then he put the very balanced approach of exogenous causes, endogenous causes, and then he came to the Vikruti Vigatkar Bhav, and then how everybody is not getting affected. Although the virus is there, but there are people who are working, the medicos are working in the COVID center only. But why everybody is not affected? That was the very important part sir has covered under the Vikruti Vigatkar Bhava as such. And then a very important part, I guess, what sir has told, that Visha, it is really a very good debatable issue, whether COVID can be considered as Visha or not. There are very good amount of debate is going on, but the way sir has put it, it is really very appreciable. And the most important part, what sir had said, was Kafadeshajam, Vayudeshajam, or Pakvashagatam Visham, Amashagatam Visham. For all of these things, there are different views. For all of these things, Kafotha or Vatadeshaja or Amashaja or Pakvashaja Visha, there are different symptoms, and later he came to, in later slides, he told us that there are different Aushadhi yogas. So this is really very important. And this understands me that, this reminds me, one publication is there on MERS virus, which belongs to the same family. So there is a publication that when the virus goes in the scrotum, then there are different symptoms. When the virus goes in the bladder, there are symptoms like urinary tract infection and everything. So it is really a very good resemblance, and how the desha is important, because atura desha, which organ, which system is going to affect, that is the thing according to which Ayurvedic medicines changes, Ayurvedic regime changes. So that sir has highlighted. In context with Visha, sir has quoted a very important issue, that is Marma Raksha. Because when now today COVID has no medicine, what modern medicine people are doing? They are doing Marma Raksha in their own context. They are doing electrolytes, they are doing ICU management, and all what they are doing is Marma Raksha only. So Marma Raksha was really very important point. We must thank him. And Ahara, he has again tried to summarize. Ahara is a really big thing, but again he has very fantastically, wonderfully put all these things into 3 slides very comprehensively, particularly the reference of mango. If your patient is having had abundant of mangoes this season, we need to ask. Or the way he has put the kadi is vibandhagna, and it is anuloman kari, etc. And finally, sir has put, really being a Rashastri, he has reminded us that Shautik is not only for acidity, but it is for Shwas and Rudrogagna. He has put the Abhrag is Pradnya Bodhi. This is really very important, because immune system has got memory component also. So in that way, Pradnya, Smriti, all these Kalpas who are having such a Falasruti, Pradnya and all these things, Smriti, vagara, they are really very important. So Pradnya Bodhi he has mentioned. He has again reminded us, being a Rashastri, we must thank him for reminding us that Kapardik is not only for again acidity and everything, but it is Pitta Rakta Kafagna. This is very important in this pandemic, because all the complications, the initial stage of COVID is Vata Kapha, but later there is involvement of Pitta and Rakta, because CRP, ferritin, creatinine ka badna, sepsis, all these things, they go with Pitta and Rakta Dushti. So we must thank him for reminding that Kapardik is a choice that will correct your Mahasrutas, as well as it is Agnimandya Pitta Rakta Kafahara. And again, we must thank him for zinc is not only the thing, zinc se sab kuch ho jayega, but Vasanta Kalpana have different things. and there must be different Vasanta Kalpana choice according to it. And lastly, he put the very good outcome, the way clinical outcome has to be. The clinical outcome has to be there in the way that what Madhav Kara says, ki dosha shant dhatu banam, etc. And at the last 2-3 slides, he has really put very comprehensively the whole roadmap. The whole roadmap he has put in 2 to 3 slides. And we are from College of Ayurveda, we are thankful to sir. There are some queries I will be getting from Facebook and everything. Just a moment, I guess there is one query from Dr. Namevar sir. As I said again, whether to correlate it with dosha or not is again some debatable issue. What sir is putting that Agartusha covers Visha and Bhuta. So Bhuta is something that is non-visible, but whether it is to be correlated with virus or not, it again a debatable issue. Visha means always plant or something animal originated toxins as per the classical texts. So as I was summarizing, it is debatable whether it is Visha or not, but this is the query we have. So I guess sir can have some opinion here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice summary of my presentation. Actually, sir, as you rightly said, but that is the beauty of our books. Actually, we can debate on quite a lot of topics. We have to, and our shastras never bind us to stick to a single opinion. Of course, our opinion has to be applied in our patients, and the outcomes will definitely tell whether our opinions are right or not. But as I said, I have only taken the concepts from the text, and I have tried to maybe put forth in some simple languages, because it's I'm not saying it exactly. It's a poison. I have taken that concept the effect what it brings on the patient or the mind of the patient. That was my more concern, to take that word specifically Visha. And the second important point was because we are not specifically that is what we always come to the conclusion ki Vata is not air, Pitta is not bile, Kapha is not phlegm. Why? Because I have taken only the concept. I was trying to say ki Visha, as the Visha crosses all the kalas, maybe if the patient comes in different stages, we have to understand now ki he is in which dhatugat avastha, and for that we have different medicines. And that was only my view, to take that Visha concept. I totally agree ki it is debatable, definitely. I also can't stick to this pattern. My only aim was to understand it in some simple words. I guess if it is enough for me.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. As sir has answered, that it cannot be, although the definition of Visha can be, it has to be from plant origin or it has to be from animal origin. And again, there is a reference of zoonotic transfer of COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2. So all these things are again discussable. Let us not say debatable, but these are topics for discussion again. So these things are discussable. But as I was summarizing it, I was not having that query in front of me, because that came on another device, the Facebook device. But as I was summarizing the concept of Visha, you just can't have whether it is correlatable with Visha or not. That cannot be answered yes or no. The way sir has put the different symptoms according to the avayava that is being affected is really important, because ACE2 receptor sites are everywhere, including your eyes, including your heart, including your intestine, including your scrotum, including your nose. So there are different presentations. And I was again saying in summary, there is a publication on MERS virus, the earlier virus, the epidemic in 2003. There is a different paper dedicated to how the symptoms vary according to different organs where the virus is going. So this is again very correlatable with our concept of Visha. And Marmaraksha is again very important thing in the context with Visha. Because Visha Chikitsa includes Marmaraksha, and that is very important thing. And as Rakesh ji sir answered, that it is Kala, the different Kalas are getting invaded, and virus is making different presentations. So in all those views, it is really correlatable with Fisher. It is again discussable. Any more queries, Patil sir? I'm here on the Google Meet device. There is another device on Facebook. There are no more queries. Thank you very much, Rakesh sir. We are really very happy to put a very comprehensive way, because whenever we have to put anything in Ayurvedic perspective, it becomes such a big. But the way to put it, finally, particularly last 2-3 slides, anyone who is knowing how to make slides, he will become to know how it is difficult to put it only 2-3 slides, the whole roadmap of Ayurveda. So we are very much thankful to you, sir. There is one query from Facebook device. Just a minute. There is one query from the audience, Pratik. Rasayan only effect on specific people, as mentioned by Charak. How we think application of Rasayan in every patient. The query is Rasayan only effect in specific people, as mentioned by Charak.
Yes, sir.
How can we think application of Rasayan in every patient?
Sir, that is what we are coming to the points key. We are very actually we are trying to understand the Shastras according to our acceptance actually. Rasayanas, if we are saying ki Rasayanas have the capacity, actually I'll have to look at the exact reference. If it's possible, Prasad sir, if it is possible, I'll try to understand the question, go to the reference, and until that, I think I'll be posting the answer. Definitely, I'll come to that answer. But I think you should give me some time to understand that query actually, the reference, what is the context of the reference, and definitely I can come to the answer then soon, very soon.
Yes. So as sir has said, he will go to the actual reference, what Charka is saying and what that query is about. He will be posting soon. But when it comes to Rasayana, actually, we come to only that Vatapi and that kind of Rasayana, what is mentioned in Rasayana chapters. But so is not the case. Our Chikitsa is full of Rasayana only. Amrit Pras Grita is Rasayana, Upsharadi Grita is Rasayana. So there are Rasayana ingredients mentioned in Chikitsa also. So, Pratik, I will certainly recommend you, if you are Marathi, go for the Rasayan Chikitsa book. It is available in Marathi. So, they have two different books. The book is divided into two parts. One is from Chikitsa Sthan and one is from Rasayan Kalpavali. So, Rasayan is not only something specific thing, but it is when we do Chikitsa, then we are using Rasayan Kalpa also. Just a minute, I will see if there are any queries on another device. And then we will be concluding. Yes, there are no queries. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, on behalf of Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Ayurveda, Deemed University. We are thankful to our today's resource person, Vaidya Rakesh Salveji, the prominent academician and practitioner, to put his classical views on COVID-19. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.